Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back in. It's Lee here, CryptoMainly. Have you ever had that feeling where you just wish you were not right and that you were wrong all along? Because that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Let's jump straight into the charts.
Bounce.
Okay, so this is my daily trading chart. So yeah, I hope you'll forgive the scribbles, but you'll notice obviously the short position that I was talking about over the last few days has come into fruition. Personally, I did enter a short position in these. I entered in the first blue circle. I added the position in the second blue circle and added again in the third blue circle, and I took profits actually when we came down to this blue box area here. At one point, I was actually starting to doubt whether we'd actually break down below this blue box support, but of course now that we have done, you'll notice that I've added a new trend line to the chart here. You have got if you join the wicks up from the high there to this low of the wick, we that's where we've bounced from at the moment. However, I think that this bounce is going to be quite short-lived. I have opened a new short position, and I suspect that we're going to see the prices coming down to the at least the 61.8, which is the 41,620 mark, and possibly even further down to the we've spoken about the 78.6. You'll notice that's actually now below this ascending trend line here, which we've been talking about for a while now. So I don't actually think we're going to get down that far on this attempt. I suspect we'll come back down to this blue box area. So this is at about 41,200. Bear in mind the 61.8 is a little bit above that at 41,600. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come down to the 61.8 and then we get a nice bounce from there. If we do start to show weakness as we bounce and start to roll over, unfortunately, if you have too many attacks at this support, then that will eventually this support will fail as well. Which will then give us targets to the sort of down to the mid-30 range. If we look at this rising channel here, which we've spoken about, the measured move of that rising channel actually takes us down to the down to sort of mid-30s mark again. But there's a lot that's going to happen before then. Along the way. If I just pull up the other chart that we've been looking at daily, yeah. So as you can see, we've broken back down below. Obviously, we haven't closed the day yet. This is a daily candles that we're looking at here. Let me just grab this for you. I'll just turn on my highlighter that I can never find. So we've got this, this support line we've been talking about for a long time now, at 44,500. As you can see, we have broken down below that support here. We haven't closed the day yet today, as I say. So, is there a chance that we might bounce back up and end up closing the day above 44,500? Yeah, I mean, at this stage, it's possible. We certainly could, have a close above 44,500, and then a further area of consolidation inside the purple triangle before we do get the actual breakdown or the breakout followed by the breakdown. So, at the moment now, as we stand now looking at this, we've broken below significant support. This pattern at the top here, it is looking, in fact, like the M pattern that we've been watching out for. So if I just get a fresh chart for you, just get rid of the volume. So this is like an exploded view of this area here at the top here. Change that to a 4 hour. So just starting from this, from a clean sheet, so to speak. If we just draw this significant resistance line or support line there, that's at the 44,600 mark. As I say, we've broken below that. This is on a 4 hour time frame. You can see actually that the last 4 hour candle closed below support. So don't be surprised to see something like this go back up to the 44,500 mark, and then get the rollover sensation. So which is on this chart is actually looking like going up to that resistance line and then rolling over. Just interesting on this one, we've got this trend line here which I've drawn in. Oh yeah, so that's not actually a trend line. That's actually if we highlight that, I'll show you what that is. That's actually the center line of the rising channel that we were looking at there. It's interesting to see that actually that would make sense. That's the 50% retracement of that center channel. So that dotted line that you can see here is the 50%, the center line, if you like, of the rising channel, which we've been speaking about for more than a week now. I mean, that is quite interesting. If we look at that, you can see that the price has come down and it's actually finding support there. So we're looking here. Right there, you can see that it's actually finding support there now. So I think that's going to be a temporary support. I don't think that's going to hold. But we've got to see what happens, for the rest of the day now, and see, how today closes, to work out what's going to happen next. Go back to this chart. There's been an update with TradingView. I don't know if you're all suffering the same as me, but every time I go out of a chart and go back into it now, it seems to have zoomed in for some reason. I don't know whether any of you guys are actually suffering from that as well. But looking at this top pattern here, this M pattern, this M topping pattern that we've broken down the neckline from now, the measured move of this topping pattern, if you like, does take us all the way back down to this blue bar territory, which is, the top of that is at 41,200. But as I say, just keep your eye out for that bounce at 61.8, as we all know, that is a key point. 61.8 level is at 41,600. So don't be surprised to see us bouncing from there. It may get a wick below and then the bounce. As I said before, guys, I mean, I'm looking at the a summer alt season. So what we don't want to see is us breaking down below the 40,000 level mark. If we start to break down below there, you've got the 78.6 there. So you've got the 78.6 there. So the 78.6 is the retracement from the impulsive move down to the 78.6 is actually 39,830. But I think if we get down below the 40,000 level, then we're going to have a sort of a panic situation, which will push us through this ascending support line. And if we do break through the ascending support line, I wouldn't at all be surprised to see us back down in the mid 30s at all, which unfortunately would mean that the summer alt season is going to be put on hold for a while. What I'm expecting to see, in actual fact, is for us to come back down, get the bounce, above the support line, and then bounce, and then continue higher, and then we get out, go into our summer alt season, as per this purple dotted line here. Just bring that up a little bit more clearly for you. I mean, over the last few days, it's been quite, this price action in general has been choppy, really choppy. So, anything can happen. So you need to be a bit prepared for that. Really, I think it's quite a dangerous area to be trading when it's as choppy as it has been. Certainly with leverage positions anyway. But hopefully, I managed to protect some of you from the losses that are being made in the altcoins at the moment. By warning you that this, the price is going to come down, because always remember, guys, that Bitcoin is king, and when Bitcoin's coming down, especially as accelerated as it has in this area here from the top to the bottom, an accelerated downward move like that, none of the altcoins will be able to fight against that. You might get the odd outlier, one or two, that have got some kind of event or some kind of fundamental news which is going on, but even that would be affected by a dump down like this. Maybe not so much as the altcoins which are just sailing along, sort of plodding along traditionally, but you can get outliers from that. But generally speaking, if you get a big move like this from altcoin, from Bitcoin, which has been cooking for a while, it could have broken to the upside. It hasn't. It's broken to the downside. So this is going to carry on now we may get a bounce, and then there's going to be continuation to the downside. So any kind of upward movements from here, I'd be very, very careful. Personally speaking, I'm going to be sitting out of the market. I've got short positions open on Bitcoin, on leveraged short positions, but I won't be trading the altcoins at the moment until I get some kind of, until we're down sort of between the 40,000 and 41,500 mark. I think that's where we're going to see our reversal, and I won't be entering into alt positions until I see that reversal at the bottom there. But I'll keep you informed, of course, along the way. So please like and subscribe, and press the bell for notifications, and so you won't miss out on that. So yeah, interesting, guys. Unfortunately, we are going to get a bounce, particularly, and then the rolling over further. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, I mentioned that this was a long position that I'd entered in the group. You may remember that I actually was looking for a pullback to the 3,000 mark to down here. We didn't actually get that, so you can see my dotted line just there. That's the point that I made the entry, and as I said to you guys and in the trading group, that I exit the position in Ethereum here. So I exited that long position that I had open here. So I was around about sort of 10% in profit, which is nice on a leverage position. 10x leverage on a 10% move is obviously 100% profit. So that was rather nice. It did get to the point, you can see, Ethereum really looked actually stronger than Bitcoin at some points, and it really was trying to break through that resistance. And there was a point where I thought, maybe I shouldn't have perhaps exited the position. But, that's what the market does to you. It kind of draws you in, and then before you know it, it turns against you and it's rolled over suddenly. It's taken a little bit of a bounce, which is to be expected. You've got some nice, you've got a nice area there, which was resistance, and resistance here, which is now turning to support. But the bounce again for this, I think, is going to be short-lived. You'll probably come back up to the neckline maybe. So that dotted line there, if you check that out over that side, that's at 3,283. If the price comes back up to there, then I would be looking to take a short position there. So let me just show you what that would look like. So why would I be entering here? So basically, what I'm looking at is for those of you that don't know, I'm looking at a bounce up to this dotted line, which is actually, the neckline here. Not drawn very well. So let me try that a different way. So then the neckline here, which is the dotted line as well, but that's kind of the neckline of the W. Sorry, the neckline of the M topping pattern. Come back up, retest, and then come back down. So this is what the trade would look like for me. As I say, this is not financial advice. This is not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing you what I'm going to be doing for entertainment purposes. So I'm just going to use the measuring tool to see, what I'm looking for a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio here, and I'm looking at the support and resistance lines that I've drawn previously to see whether there's actually a trade opportunity here. I'll just extend this line out. So there, and the neckline of this W here, is likely where the price is going to come down to. So if we look over this side, that's at the 3,000 mark. Are we going to get some support down on the way? Yes, probably, very likely. There's going to be some at the base of this here. So that's at 31. So 3,100. So 3,100. So there's likely to get a bit of a bounce, possibly from that area there. I'll just draw that on for you as well. 3,100. The base of this support lines here. So as you can see, we're trying to squeeze a trade in here. There is a trade to be had. You can see that it is just inside the trend line here. It is just above support. The entry, if we get the bounce, of course, we wouldn't be entering where we are now, because if we move that down to where we are, then of course, your target is actually below the support lines and things. So I wouldn't be entering a trade there. And to be honest, this one is actually looking a little bit too close for comfort. If you wanted to bring this down to increase the risk reward, you can do. But personally speaking, looking at this isn't a trade that I'd be taking. So I won't be, even if we get the bounce up here, I won't be taking a short position on Ethereum. Coupled with the fact that Ethereum has a habit of stop hunting like it is here, and then turning around on everybody just when you least expect it. So Ethereum is classic for doing that. So I'm not really comfortable taking a short position from here. I'm just going to see what happens with price action. I'm going to keep my eye on Bitcoin and see what happens here. And then I'll make a decision on what I do with Ethereum now. But I'm happy to just sit out the market. I'm not in altcoin trades. I'm not going to be until I see some kind of reversal from Bitcoin. At the moment, I think we've got, we may get like an ABC type scenario where, if I just draw that for you, what that would look like. So let's just draw it from this peak here. So from this corrective move here. So depending on, so that's the measure from the top to the low at the moment. And if we get some kind of bounce back up, into this blue box area, you can see that if we do get this bounce up into the blue box area, that the ABC correction from there would take us down, which is confluence for the measurement of this this topping pattern. So from the peak to the neckline is, that arrow there, that purple arrow has been duplicated to this purple arrow here. And now that I've drawn from the high to the low, and if we get that bounce, the ABC correction is actually providing confluence with the two measurements. Firstly, the topping pattern, and now secondly, an ABC correction. So I do think that we are going to make it all the way down to this blue box territory. So 41,200 is going to be the target that I've got open at the moment currently. So from as I said before, I did actually exit the short position at support here. But I am looking now to re-enter. So what that will look like is when we get a bounce up into the blue box territory. So let me just pop that in there. So I'm going to put it just in the middle of that blue box area there. So if we get a bounce and we come back up and we get the entry inside that blue box, you can see that I'm going to bring the risk reward down to above the neckline of these Ming patterns here. So you've got a neckline here. So the stop loss is above the that neckline, if you like. So that's going to be resistance there. And I'm comfortable to say that, if you look at the risk reward ratio on there, even if you take profits a little bit earlier, so you've got the 61.8 at 41,700. I'm going to come back above, so you've got this support line, this light blue sort of turquoise dotted line there. So I'm going to bring my target just up above there, and you can see I've got a 2.5 risk reward ratio. A sensible risk margin at the top, sensible risk reward, and this is a more comfortable trade than the Ethereum one would be. So that's the trade. This is the trade that I will be looking for next, guys. So make your own choices on that and your own decisions, obviously. Don't take what I say as gospel. Anything can happen in the market. And I wish you all the best with your trading. And I'll speak to you again soon. Always remember, guys, take profits and buy something real. All the best, guys. See you tomorrow.